I'm a full proponent that we would RFP the contract out for the work of coordination. Trustee Moore.
I just wanted to second some of President Rose's comments. Just, vis-a-vis 2015, a lot of us, kind of a new board, a lot of us haven't been here for a long time. So just in order to make the most informed decision that we can and know the basis for our decision, it's just kind of important for us to see some of that historical information, just so we can see. Because I know you talked over in 2015, but this is for instance for me, this is my first exposure to this. So I just want to have a better understanding of respective costs and kind of discussions that take place. And I'm not saying that at this point I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this, but I just want to understand it a little better, since there are people on the board who have not seen this before.
Okay.
I have a question about the drive-by. So you're just in your car and you have a wand or something, and boom, you get the reading, right?
So on a drive-by system, you've got a laptop in your vehicle, and it's got a transceiver that's connected to it through the USB port, goes to an antenna, and then antenna's on top of the vehicle, and you do about 15, 20 miles an hour down the street, and it picks up.
So I mean, there's no reason we couldn't do that like bi-monthly, because that's less time than having to walk up and touch something on every meter, right? It's just driving through town, which doesn't take that long, frankly. So I mean, I'm not sure to our customers having an hourly read, I mean, it's the cost difference. If it's only, a nickel a quarter, then yeah, let's go for the AMI and do the highest. But if it's going to be, an extra $25 a quarter, then I would say it's okay to just drive through town, do it bi-monthly instead of every quarter.
So can I ask a question then for when we come back next time and we have these costs generated? It's under a cost per customer that we're looking at, and then we'll have we can break this down cost per customer for each one of these things, like for the meter, because these things are roughly about say it's about $300 per customer cost right now, but we can break it down, take a look at that, and
for
then
everything installation,
for the capital costs, and then once we take a look at, we can look at a 20-year projection on that, because like I said, we've done it for a community to kind of right down the road, not too much different as far as size-wise goes. So we can easily bring back those costs and kind of bring it back to a per customer cost.
Like any kind of transaction fees that they would have to incur if we did web-based or like that type of.
Yeah, that one I can take a look at. I'll have to talk to a couple of vendors, because both in Cuddy's case and here they said that, or Madison's case, they said that's something in the future they didn't make it as part of the bid, but I can find out what that cost is.
How do you know what technology, this is a rapidly changing technology, what type of technology you buy into and how we use it to set yourself up, so from 5 years from now, you have the hardware or whatever in place to
Right, so, yeah, it's a little difficult. So like in Madison's case, we purchased a technology that was top of the line at the time, and 5 years into it, they said, we're going to change the way that we do things, and we're going to do this over a Wi-Fi network now. Now we're going to put Wi-Fi networks everywhere as opposed to just a couple of towers. So it completely changed. But they're under contract with numerous utilities to honor that 20 years of that point-to-point system. So they're going to do that, right? And now they offer to the customer an ability to, if you want to upgrade, here's how you upgrade to our new platform. So we want to select a platform that we know is going to be, that has been used elsewhere, and that's part of the process, is that we get a number of different references to make sure that this is not a fly-by-night company that's doing it. There's pretty much just a handful of them that'll do it. Like I said, you'd probably be about 6 to 7 bids, and they all use similar technology. And really, it's difficult to know for a 20-year period. It really is.
And when you say the customer can upgrade, that's us, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, the utility can upgrade.
So we would be able to purchase a new upgrade for a new system.
Correct, depending upon how they want to, what platform they migrate to. Some of them just say, it's just a new version, it's the same way that we're always doing things. Here's your upgrade, you just download it, you can put it right, send it right to the endpoint. It, does the software upgrade, not a problem, they keep right on going.
And it kind of is worrisome, you mentioned that cellular is the new thing, and yet it's not good for Shorewood. I don't know what that means.
So,
Is that too small?
a little bit too small. So there's an annual fee, a monthly fee for getting those reads per endpoint. Okay, and when you look at a 20-year period for that, it comes to be a lot more costly than putting up just a point-to-point system. Because, we wouldn't need 56 antennas around town here. We're probably looking at about, depending upon where they can get, put them, probably looking at, less than 5.
And that's just AM at 9, not the drive-by,
Correct.
correct? And just to be transparent, that's my concern that Milwaukee and Whitefish Bay isn't doing it. Just, if they were, if you could tack onto a contract, then it might lower those costs and we'd be up to speed on the technology.
Yeah, Kerry Lewis, who used to be in Milwaukee, desperately wanted to do the AMI, but it worked out for them from a financial standpoint that they would be able to replace batteries with the iTron system and keep going with the same iTron system. So that's what they decided to do. Looking back at it, she'd probably tell you that they want to go to AMI because of all the benefits to the customer side and because of all the issues that they're having with a lot of customer side leaks. But at the time, they had to make a decision, and they continued to go with the drive-by system.
Right, and so, but even for antenna selection of where we put them, they'll all be in our community, right?
Right.
I just want to mention, our police chief has been having issues with his radios. I don't know if they're the same types of frequencies, but he, at one point, you may want to talk to him because I think he had to change to, I don't remember the details, but he had to upgrade his radios to digital, I think, and he was having issues of not being able to transmit in
Right.
certain parts of town, so, you
So-
want to have a talk with him about if there's dead zones or something like that.
Yeah, so what all the vendors are required to do is a propagation study of their infrastructure here in the village of Shorewood. So we give them all the locations for our meters, and then they go back and they put it through their software propagation package, and they come back out with, here's how the coverage will be for Shorewood, and that's part of the analysis that we'll go through. So if some have a redundancy, let's say antenna gets hit by lightning and it gets taken out, the customers that are talking to that antenna, is there another one that they can go to? So how many endpoints have like a redundant antenna that it can talk to? And so that's one of the things that we'll then build into the contract with the vendor, is that you need to honor this propagation study that you have put in place. And they'll say yes, of course, but unless there's a new building that goes up, that's 30 stories,
Could happen.
Right, and that's all part of the language that goes into the contracts.
So how does this help with water loss for the village? I mean, is this going to help move the AMI, not going into the house, but within our system?
So the biggest benefit, like I said before, is that back in 2016, we put in a monitoring system where we can see how much water is going through our meters with Milwaukee every hour. We'll then be able to compare it to how much water goes through our customers' meters every hour. We can do it per month, per day, per hour. And when we start to see that difference between the two, because there always will be a difference, because you always have some underground leakage that happens, we can then start to make decisions as to, you know what, I think we need to go out and start doing some leak detection. So staff has, equipment here to go out and start doing, and listening on valves and on hydrants to see if they can hear some leaks. I can tell you the majority of leaks that happen with the utility are not big main breaks, because the majority of them surface. Although we had one beginning of 18 that we repaired that was probably going on for about 2 to 3 months, that was going into a 30-inch storm sewer that never surfaced, that we were able to find, because we did see that nighttime flow going up in the village. But the majority of leaks that our utility has are surface leaks.
How did
So
you see
they're-
that? How did you see that without AMI?
We saw that over the monitoring system. So when we take a look at the monitoring system at Milwaukee, we get every hour. And what I like to do is look at between midnight and 5 a.m.
So we already have that capability for our own pipes? Is that what you're
for what we purchased from Milwaukee. What we didn't know is our usage to our customers going up as well. We couldn't find that out until the next 90 days, until the next time we read meters. So in this case, while we did see something, it was also not something that was a significant jump, because we had nothing really to compare it to. It was also happening, it started when we're still into the watering time of the year, towards the end of fall, where there's still a lot of people using water for irrigation. So it was really hard to see that until it became January, February, and we were like, we think something's going on, and in February is when we spotted the leak. They were able to find it and then go out and repair it. So in this case, if we had our customer usage every hour, we could see that going up, and we could say, hey, we need to get out there and start looking for a water leak somewhere.
So are we passing on that water loss to the customers by spreading it out so they would, if we can detect the leaks, they'll save money that way?
Save some money that way, yeah. Because it'll, our cost then to purchase water from Milwaukee will go down.
It is 7:35, so just if it would be okay, President Rosa, can I just recap where we're at? Because there is some last comments I'd like to hear from the board. From what I heard tonight, you're slated to come back on the 22nd. One of the things that I heard, and board members chime in if I'm not including everything that you discussed, but that there was the request of the board to see the cost per customer with the drive-by system and with the AMI system.
And all the components, whether it's web-based or.
So, my question just onto that is, will you have numbers that will be fairly accurate, or would it be more worthwhile for the, I still think it's valuable to go through that exercise in the 22nd, but how close do you think those numbers would be to something that would actually be bid? So, for example, I'm wondering if this board still, wants to test the market for to ensure their accuracy, can it be bid both ways?
Sure, it can. I can tell you that the cost for the AMI system will be very accurate. It would not be very difficult for me to, have this 2-week period to call vendors in the area and find out what a drive-by system is costing today. It'd be pretty easy to do that.
Okay.
So I think we'd have some pretty accurate costs.
But isn't it, to her point, bidding you, in your first slide, or something, you get better prices? So you might be able to call around, but a competitive bid might bring it down.
Right.
But to your point, I think it also would provide a good benchmark for what we're looking at from a
Right.
technology
Correct.
perspective. Okay. Mark, can you?
Well, I was just going to say, I think we'll have some really good illustrative numbers, and then we'll see what happens, with the board sentiment, and then if pursue the bid, hopefully we'll maybe do a little bit better than that.
So then the second topic, and I know President Rosa had hit on it a little bit, but we need to be able to provide staff with some direction in terms of whether we want to continue with what the board in 15 or 16 had intended to, which was contract with city water for the second phase, what they call the second phase of this, and having them project manage and do that construction implementation of the bid, RFP, and then implementation of the system, or in light of the new purchasing policy, whether you want to go and RFP those services. If we do, that sets back our timeline, so we would need to alter from there. So you would not be implementing the same.
Can I add to, you missed one part, which was trustee Menta had mentioned, what's the difference in the cost between slowing it up and.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It just
Yeah.
comes first for.
5 year versus 1 year.
Sure.
And then,
Okay.
because then the next step is, if the board decided that slowing it up was an okay thing to do, then that might play into whether you want to go out to RFP or not, or what's the urgent
Thank
need.
you.
And I do want to understand though, I don't know if you guys said the same thing. We had always contracted for your services through putting out bid documents, correct, and evaluation. It was just that phase 2 was the overseeing the implementation of the actual, right? So I think you said it a little differently, and I just want to be clear. So it's,
That I said.
Yeah, and so it would be whether or not the board would like to RFP out the implementation component, the overseeing of implementation, is that correct?
Well, the other part of it is we did bring this to an RFP stage back in 16. We're now, going on 3 years difference now, and so we have to upgrade those documents. Those documents have technology that is, again, 3 years old. We need to upgrade that. It's not a big cost, but that would be some of the cost that we want to, we're gonna have to incur because we're gonna have to update those documents as well.
So it's for two services, then it's to upgrade the past documents and to oversee implementation.
Right, my understanding was to get the documents for bidding up to par, to bid, and then to implement.
Correct.
I'm just confused. Did the board know that we'd have to incur that, we never went out to bid, so the documents.
Right.
I don't know if you guys ever, I don't think anyone ever envisioned it halting, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we specifically discussed, the phase two, the scope was